So welcome, let's begin with our next set of 20 questions for the CSET examination. Now the very first question is an interesting question. We'll just try to understand with simple example. Now for 1 by 3 less than x less than y less than 2, which of the following statements are correct? Now for the first case, I take an example for value of x is 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 plus 1 upon 1 by 2 is greater than, because it would prove opposite, so that's why I'm saying greater than, would be 2 by 3 plus 1 by 2 by 3. So when I solve it, it would be 1 by 2 plus 2 greater than 2 by 3 plus 3 by 2, right? So 1 cannot be the correct statement, but let me take 2 as the statement. So it says 1 plus y square divided by y under root is less than under root of 1 plus x square by x. Now let me take the value of x as 1 and y as 1.5. This turns to be true. I take another value. Let's say I have tried it with the value where I take the values as x is equal to 1 by 2, y is equal to 2 by 3, the same values that we had taken for this case. Again, this statement comes true. So you have 2 as the correct option for this question. Now the next is, what is the minimum number of times one need to measure to get 298 liters of water when I have the measuring capacities of 1, 6, 6, 25 and 100. The simplest way is I take 100 3 times, so it becomes 300. Then I subtract 2 ones. So 1 and 1 twice. So only 5 iterations I have to do and I get a measurement of 298. Simple. The next question is, there are 4 types of weight: 1 kg, 2 kg, 5 kg, 5 kg and 10 kg. Now, what is the maximum number of different ways one can measure 20? Now, I can say A plus 2B plus 5C plus 10D. Okay, that makes it 20. That can be my statement, right? This is repeated, so I just remove it. Okay. Now, how many ways I can have A? If A can be 8 but not more than 11. So A can be what? It can range from 8, 9, 10 and 11. Okay, now the ways under which 1 kg, 2 kg, 5 kg, 10 kg can be distributed is, when this is 8, this is 1, I get 20. When this is 8, this is 1, this is 2, I get 20. So I have given all the possible combinations here. Now the total number of combinations that are there, that can be 8. So when I have this 10, okay, I can have 10 kg as one more and I can get 20. When I have this 10, I can have 2 of 5 kgs and I can get 20, and so on and so forth. So my total combinations become 8. The next is a very interesting problem. I have a solid cube, right? Now, let me take, assume this as a cube, right? So what I do is I cut it from here. So 2 parts. Now I cut it from here. So again, 2 more parts, 4 parts. I cut it from here. Then again, that 4 becomes 8. So with 3 cuts, I can get 8 parts. Now, which of the following is not possible with the 4th cut? I already have 8 parts. I cannot reduce those number of 8 parts. The next cut would automatically increase the number of parts, as simple. So this can always be more than 8, not less than 8. So which of the following is not possible is 5. Very interesting question. This question appears to be very tricky, but it's a very, very simple problem to solve. Now again, a class of students X, the test score increases by 4. Okay, then the average class of X student in a test increases by 4. The class size is increasing by 4. When the scores is rectified, the scores increase is 100. So from 0 to 100, and the class size increases by 4. So the original average plus 4, right? So what is the number of students? 100 divided by 4. That means 25 is the number of students. Now, the interesting part. The later score, the record was 81, but the corrected record was 56. So 81 minus 56 is minus 25. So I reduce 1 from it. Okay, so average score is 25. Okay, 1 is reduced. Okay, minus 25 is done. So I have less than 1 average than before. So previously it was 4, now minus 1, so the new average is 3. So my correct answer is 3. I hope this becomes clear. An interesting problem, need not to go into the details. This can be attained simply. Now this is an interesting question. The SARS virus was first detected in 2019, and this was considered as a novel virus during that time. At that time, no one was exposed to SARS and had a immunity against it. Okay, then there were people who were talking about HMPV for decades. Now this virus was old, it was well defined. Now both of them belong to different families with fundamentally different characteristics and strong seasonality seen in HMPV, right? That was not seen with SARS. Now both have different symptoms, particularly the long-term symptoms. They affect the population which do not overlap. So what is the thing that we need to understand? Based on this, which of the following conclusions is true? Now, the two viruses have fundamentally different impact on the population and should not be dealt with similar manner. That is very, very true. However, the first statement is not correct because this passage does not explain that SARS and HMPV are similar viruses. Okay, they belong to different virus families and therefore this statement is incorrect. Only two statement is correct. Now, based on that same thing, which of the following reflect the intent of the above passage? To evolve the methodology? No. To establish epidemiological similarities or differences? No. It does not discuss the remedies either. So none of these is the correct answer. It simply tells you the contrast between the two viruses, the family, the epidemiology, or the seasonality between the two. The next is, which of the following reflect the logical and the rational inferences that can be drawn by the passage? So HMPV has historically a longer documentation than SARS because SARS was discovered in 2019, so this is correct. The two viruses are different from each other and have different outcomes, again clearly mentioned in the passage. Long-term impact are very, very different, stating that they are dissimilar virus. That's again incorrect. And the last statement says that there is a common factor which is seasonal specificity, which is not mentioned because it clearly says HMPV has it, SARS does not. So fourth is incorrect. 1, 2 and 3 are the correct options. Now the next question is a very simple direct question again. 3 variables are taken. I have to take the maximum possible values for the one case and the minimum possible values for the one case and calculate the difference. So the values are 2, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now the maximum would be 5 into 4 plus 3 because I am taking them as a distinct value, right? So that makes it 23. Now the minimum possible value would be 2 into 3 plus 4, which is 11. The difference of this, that is 10, not 11, right? So the difference of that is 13. So my correct answer here would be 13. The next question is, let's say suppose x, y and z are variables which are having positive real numbers. Now if y is directly proportional to x square, okay, so y is equal to kx square, I put it simply. Now I take x is equal to 5, so my y is 50. That's given. X is 5 and y is 50. So what is the value of k? So k into x square, which is 25. So k is equal to 2. Now I have the value of k. Now if the value of y is 98, so 98 divided by this 2 would give me 49. So my new value of x would be 7. Now with my new value of x, when I have xz initially, it would be 5 into z is 7 by 25. That makes it 7 by 5. Now with my new value of x, it would be 7 into 7 by 5 divided by 7. Okay, that's my new value of x. So therefore what would be my z? My z in this case would be what? 7 by 5 divided by 5. That means 1 by 5. As simple as that. So the answer here is 1 by 5. The next is a passage which talks about India deploying AI for various purposes, weather, pest control, crop yield, and it says that the penetration is limited to a small subset of tech-savvy farmers. This is very important. We'll see this in the question, right? In US and Europe, we have seen generative AI tools have offered precision farming at a scale which integrates large data set to provide real-time agronomic insight. Now, this thing has been taken into account. So to answer this question, it says which of the following assumption is valid. So affordable AI tools rendered available in the local languages help AI solutions in a reachable way to the farmers. Of course, because that's the last line of the passage, that we can create affordable AI with Indian languages to reach the farmers. The next is, though the penetration is less, the critical applications are ready to use in India and have been already in practice. So both of these statements are correct. However, one is not supported because it does not assume that Western productivity is actually rose because of the AI tools. That is not mentioned. The next is, which is not correct. So tech savvy farmers would drive the edtech companies. This is not correct. It simply says that the penetration is limited to tech savvy farmers. It does not say that those tech savvy farmers would drive the agricultural companies. So this is incorrect. The development of the advisory by the government is used for AI tools for agriculture would be helpful. That's correct. In Europe and US, AI tools have not replaced traditional agricultural practices. They have started the precision tool farming. It does not say they have totally replaced it. So this is incorrect. The integration would be used in the real-time analytics. That is correct. So 2 and 4 are the correct. The question asks which is not correct. So 1 and 3 are not correct. The next is PQRS are the things that are the ranking, right? Now it's interesting to understand. P is 4. Okay. Q is not 5. R is 1. S is not 2. T is not 3. Now these are the values that are given. Now if I say S is 3, then T is equal to 2. Now for a fixed information, let's say P is equal to 4, R is equal to 1 that we have. If I say S is not 3, okay, then T must be what? T must be either 2 or 5. Okay, that's the only possible thing. But Q cannot be 5. And Q cannot be 5, we can have Q is equal to 2. If Q can be 2 and T can be 5, then this statement turns false. So this cannot be the true answer. The next statement says the rank of Q is 3. Now, if I take, understand this carefully, if I take Q as 3, then S and T must be 2 and 5. Now again, S cannot be 2 as already given. So S has to be 5 and T has to be 2. So here again T cannot be 5. So I would say neither of these statements can actually prove this. The next is, two identical straight rods are painted with 5 distinct colors. Now the two cases we have taken here, right? Now it says that the portions are marked P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, Q1 to Q5. Now when the rods are kept parallel, P1 and Q3 match. So P1 and Q3 match in both these cases, clear? And P4 matches with Q1 or Q2. So P4 would match either with Q2 or P4 would match with Q2. Okay. Then Q4 would match with P3 or 5. So Q4 would match with P5 and Q4 would match with P3 here. If Q3 and Q5 are adjacent, which of these are possible? So I have to keep them adjacent. So these are the two cases when I am keeping them adjacent. When Q3 is in the middle position, P2 would be in the first position. Okay. And when Q3 is in the position of second, then P2 would be in the first position. That is the extreme cases that I have taken. Now since these two extreme cases I have taken, if Q3 is marked in the middle position, this would be the arrangement as you can see. And if P2 is marked at one of the extreme positions, then this would be the arrangement. So both of these would be the possible explanations to explain the arrangement as we have seen. And this fulfills what is given in the question. So it's a kind of simple arrangement based question that is there. Now, the next question is 7 people travel by 3 cars. A and other 2 travel by X. So I have X, Y and Z. So with X, A travels and there are 2 more. E travels with G. Okay. C travels by Z. So C travels by Z. E and G travel together. That is one thing. And B does not travel with Y. Now B does not travel with Y, so B can be either here or B can be either here. Besides A and B do not travel by the same car, so B cannot be here, so the only position B can be would be here. Now E and G travel together, so E and G can be here. Now then which of the following is correct? No one travels alone, that is correct, because there are two more who would be traveling with A. So who are the two more left? D and F are the two more left. Okay. Only E travels with G. So with G there is only E. There cannot be A. So we cannot keep this in the category of X. So this would be the combination. Now no one travels alone. That is correct. D travels with F. That is correct. Only C travels with B. That is again correct. So I have all these three statements that are correct. But the question says only D travels with F. That is incorrect, right? Because you have A also there. Okay, so this is incorrect. It is A, D, F traveling together. Clear? So only 1 and 3 would be the correct statements here. So I have only 1 and 3 as the correct statement. I hope this was clear. The next question is an interesting question. X, what is not correct? I am putting a bar over it. Okay, so X is incorrect, then so is Y. That means Y is incorrect. If Z is incorrect. If Y is incorrect, then W is correct. If W is correct, then I say X is incorrect. Okay, now once I have this relation, okay, it's important to understand. I relate all these together. So I can say what would happen in this case is, now X is correct, then W is not correct and Y is correct. Similarly, because I have X and X common here, so these two cases I am combining. Okay, and then I will combine this case along with it. Okay, in the next case I would say Z is not, then Y is not, so Z would lead to Y. Okay, this not sign is not there, and then when Y would be there, I would have X also, that would lead to it. So if X is correct, I can say Y is correct. That is totally perfect. If Z is correct, then it is not necessarily that Y is correct. That is incorrect, because when Z is correct, Y is correct, and therefore I can say only 1 is correct. I hope this is clear. So it's simply understanding the combination. I repeat, X is not correct, then Z is not correct. Y is not correct, then W is correct. If W is correct, then X is not correct. So I relate this. So W is correct, X is not correct, Y is not correct. I can do vice versa. X is correct, Y is correct, W is not correct. I hope you are getting what I'm trying to say. And the same goes for the second case that we already did. So just repeat it and you would have it. So you have A only as the correct answer. Now here, this is an interesting problem. X and Y are two runners who run the same duration. Now they run when X completes 7 rounds, Y completes 5 rounds. Clear? Now therefore, how many times they would overlap? They would have 2 units that they would overlap. Okay, because it is completing 7 rounds, it is completing 5 rounds. So after 5 rounds, Y would change this direction and the speed. So Y now, which was 5 times, it was running at 6 rounds. It would run 10 rounds. So initially 5 rounds, now 10 rounds. It is running opposite and has doubled the speed. So the number of rounds would double. And for the X, what would happen? It was exactly 21 rounds. So 21 minus 7 already done. So how many left? 14 rounds. Now, how many times did X and Y meet after they started and finally they stopped? So here, what would happen? I would take a relative speed 7 here and 10 here. So 7 plus 10 is 17. Now 17 is the relative speed with 2 units that are covered. So how much is the time? It is the 34th meeting that would happen at t is equal to 3 exactly. But now what it says is they meet after they have started and before they have stopped. So I cannot include 34. I have to keep it only 33 and 2 from before. So how much there would be? 2 plus 33, 35. I hope that was clear. So this 33 is from the second case, 2 is from the first case. I add those and I get 35. And why I am taking 33 here? Because exactly at t is equal to 3, I would have 34 as the count. But it clearly says that you don't have to include the starting and the final position. So I cannot take the 34th one. I have to take the 33 one. I hope this was clear. The next question is again a simple question. So here what we are trying to do is, for every correct marks you are getting 5, for every incorrect wrong marks you are losing 2, and that turns out to a score of 69. In the second case you are getting 4 for a correct marks and 1 for a wrong marks, and then you are getting a score of 84. Two equations, two variables, solve that, you get the answer. So you have how many questions were there in the question paper. So how many questions would be there in the question paper? I solve these two, I get C is equal to 33, W is equal to 48. Now the total number of questions, I simply add those become 81. So that is my correct answer here. The next question is from the Juvenile Justice Act, very important, the JJ Act 2015. This was also important for your GS but asked in your CSET. So it allows the possibility of trying adolescents above 16 as an adult if they are accused of a heinous crime. Now heinous crime is one which has a minimum punishment for 7 years. The offences such as culpable homicide or death by negligence, which are common in case of drunk driving, are not the case of heinous offence. Now this was one of the recent cases that was seen in Maharashtra, and based on that possibly this question was asked. So it says that this act amended in 2021 and now categorizes offence as no minimum sentences and has a maximum sentence of 7 years for a serious crime, with nonetheless in the opinion that does not merit in the transfer of the case to an adult system, right? So which of the conclusions are valid? The first conclusion is not valid because it says that adolescents above 16 can be transferred to a adult system if the accused is of a heinous crime. So 1 is not valid. The statement 2 is a valid statement because it categorizes offense as a serious offense based on the maximum sentences it carries rather than the minimum sentences. So 2 is correct. So 2 only would be the right answer here. The last question for this set, again based on the same passage. If an offence has no minimum prescribed punishment, it cannot be considered as a heinous crime. That is exactly what has been given in the statement that we had discussed. And 2, the amendment in 2021 talked about an offence for which there is a provision of maximum sentence of 7 years or more, but no minimum sentence is considered to be a serious offence. So again, that is what was given in the passage. So both 1 and 2 are correct. I hope you are clear with this set of 20 questions. We will be continuing with our set of another 20 and 20 questions. Stay tuned. Thank you.